Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to URKG. This is your latest Real Madrid news and transfer news as we discuss two massive stories today. Liverpool's new boss, Arne Slot, wants to sign Rodrygo. The second one is Madrid just dropped a cheeky bid to sign Ibrahima Konaté. Could we see a double deal between these two giants? We're going to discuss that. And also, AC Milan have asked about Real Madrid if they are open to sell Fran Garcia. We're going to get into that as well. And also, Bayern Munich apparently are interested in Rodrygo, and they are willing to meet £100 million for him. It's just incredible stuff. And Jude Bellingham also has completed his shoulder injury, and we're going to discuss when he is going to return. But look, before we get into the show, make sure you smash that like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and let me know in the comment sections what you think about these stories. What are your feelings? Get in the poll. What do you think about Rodrygo? Is he going to stay? Is he going to leave? Do you want him to stay? Do you want him to leave? But look, let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into it right now. We're going to start off with Rodrygo, of course. And this is coming from Santi JFM. I don't know if you guys know him, but he is, I would put him in the second tier. I wouldn't say like he's at the level of Fabrizio top tier. I wouldn't call him top tier, but he's at the second tier. And he's basically reporting that Arne Slot is a huge admirer of Rodrygo, and Liverpool could make a move soon. But it all depends on an attacker leaving. Luis Diaz apparently also having a discussion with Bayern Munich. He could potentially join Bayern Munich. And so if they lose Luis Diaz, of course, they got to bring in a replacement. And Rodrygo could be one of those guys. And look, there's a lot of teams in discussion for Rodrygo. It's not just Liverpool. I spoke about Bayern Munich as well. Bayern Munich also in discussion in terms of to see how this deal moves forward. Again, for Bayern Munich, it's the same thing, right? If they sign Luis Diaz, they're not going to sign Rodrygo. So it is all connected, people. It is all connected. It all depends on what's going to happen on another deal. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen there. But I'm excited for this one. I'm going to get into the comment sections in a second. But look, I want to focus on Rodrygo's offer that we just heard about Liverpool, right? Should Real Madrid consider selling Rodrygo? We've seen rumors about Vini Jr. not signing contract, apparently, and some sort of uncomfort in that front line as well. So Rodrygo could be sold. I'm one of those guys where I could say, if we're keeping Vini and if we're definitely staying with Kylian Mbappe, then Rodrygo is the one to be sacrificed. Mastantuono is coming in on that right wing position. I don't see a position for Rodrygo to be a starter. And we've seen in this Club World Cup tournament that Xabi Alonso doesn't really fancy Rodrygo, and he didn't really play him. So that tells you everything you need to know about Alonso's point of view, Alonso's expectation, Alonso's opinion in terms of Rodrygo. So I expect he is the one to be sold. Would you guys let him go, though? Would you let him go? Let me just read some of the comments here. Liverpool basically, London says, Liverpool basically saying to Newcastle, we will give you a world record bid for Isak, or we still Ekitike from you. Some power play. Look, that's another dimension. I think Isak has nothing to do with Rodrygo, right? Isak is a replacement for Jota, RIP Jota, by the way, and also potentially a replacement for Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez could also be leaving, so that is a different discussion. But Rodrygo is related to Diaz, so if Diaz leaves, then definitely Liverpool will go all in to sign Rodrygo. And the other point that we want to make is the Konaté situation as well. Gonna get into that in a second, but that could also be in play. There could be a swap deal. There could be some sort of agreement between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Jake says, of course, Rodrygo, let him go to one. He's a huge talent. He's going to waste. Hell no, says Jake. Football says, when does the transfer window close? We still have a lot of time. For the transfer to be closed. Eva says, our dream 11 is Courtois, Alvarro. Okay, I'm going to get to that. look, guys, Rodrygo's in leaving for sure, but it's probably for the best, says Jake. Look, I expect Rodrygo to leave. It is pretty clear for me to see that Rodrygo is going to be leaving. And the other discussion about Rodrygo is that Bayern Munich I just spoke about. Bayern Munich are interested in Rodrygo, and they are willing to pay £100 million for him. We know Madrid set that price tag. If Rodrygo leaves, that is the price tag that they are expecting to get. And potentially they can get that from Bayern Munich. Of course, again, if the deal with Brahim, if the Diaz situation turns into a mess, I think they're going to go all in for Rodrygo. And I think it's going to happen. It's being reported by a lot of Madrid outlets. And we'll see. We'll see how this is going to turn out. But where do you think, if you are Rodrygo, if you are in his position, would you stay at Real Madrid? Would you go to Liverpool? Would you go to Bayern Munich? If all these offers are on the table for you, you guys let me know what you think about that. London says Madrid want 20 million for Fran Garcia. I'm going to get into that in a second. Why don't they test Rodrygo and Mbappe? And if it goes, let him leave. That's another good point, right? That's another good point that we talked about. We haven't really seen Mbappe and Rodrygo used a lot since Xabi Alonso came in. So that could be one situation. If Vini situation with Kylian Mbappe doesn't work out, right? If it's just not happening, if it's not working out, definitely, he could be an option. But Endrick is coming back. Brahim Diaz is in there. Yes, Radagulé is being used as CAM. Mastantuono's coming in. And now Gonzalo Garcia is also in the conversation for that forward lineup. So we are stacked up front. And I think Xabi Alonso needs to find a balance, that he needs to decide who he's going to let go, who he's going to stick with, in my opinion. Donald says, if we are talking about Rodrygo's career, he is not getting a start in a team, then he has to leave because it's his career at stake. Yes, that is a good point. That is actually a good point by Donald, because not only his career, we're talking about him focusing on the World Cup. Make no mistake about it. The World Cup is coming soon, people, and nobody wants to sit on the bench. They need to be playing. If they want to be in the squad for Brazil, if he wants to start for Brazil in the World Cup, he's going to be competing with Rafinha, Vinicius Junior, Neymar could be back, Anthony could be back. You know, there's a whole lot of Cunha's in there, and João Pedro's in there. So that front line for Brazil, it is solid, right? It is really competitive. So if he wants to get in there, he can't just be sitting on the bench and just collecting cash. I don't think he needs to do that. He needs to go to a team that he's going to be able to start every week. And I don't think Madrid can offer him that, in my opinion. Our attack, yes, I'm going to get into that, Eva. I'm going to get into that. Let's just focus on Rodrygo right now. Let's focus on Rodrygo. I'm concerned. Vini needs to go. We can't let Mbappe go. It's impossible, says Jake. True that. That is correct. All right. I think we covered all the comments on in relation to Rodrygo. All right. Let's just stay focused and talk about Rodrygo. And then we got to go into the second segment that I want to touch on of the Konaté situation. But yeah, it's going to be a good one to see. Should Rodrygo be sold? If we get 80 M's or 90 M's, I would say definitely go for it, especially if you're going to stick with Vini. If you're not going to stick with Vini, then you need to consider maybe utilizing Rodrygo with Kylian Mbappe and maybe considering selling Vinicius Junior, because Vinicius Junior has been awful and last season as well. He's not by himself. Rodrygo has been awful as well last season, but we've got to make a choice. I don't think we can keep the same starting lineup anymore. We can't keep Vini, Mbappe, and Rodrygo. Those three can't stay. We know Mbappe is going to stay. So it's going to be between Vini and Rodrygo. So it's going to be interesting to see. And make no mistake, Hendrick is in the conversation as well. He has been injured, so we haven't really talked about him. So it will be interesting. KG 55% want Rodrygo to stay. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. 54% now he should stay. And 46% is saying that we should take the money. Yeah, that's the vote that we're getting. That is the vote that we're getting. But let's move on to the second topic I want to talk about here. All right. Which is this. All right. Breaking news from Darius, right? Again, a Spanish outlet is reporting Madrid will offer 20 million to 25 M's to sign Konaté this summer. We know the situation. Liverpool want more than 50 M's, but they're not going to get 50 M's, are they? They're not really going to get 50 M's because Madrid knows that his contract is going to finish at the end of the summer. So for sure, why would they pay 50 M's now? Why would somebody pay 50 M's if you know for sure you're going to get him for free in the summer? Ask Trent. If you don't believe me, ask Trent. That's exactly what we did to Trent. And Liverpool fans are going nuts right now. They're not happy. We're about to take another guy from them for free. But why Konaté, you may ask? It fits the profile, right? He's fast, he's strong, comfortable in the build-up play. He's perfect for long-term partnership for Militao or Hausen or even Rodrygo if you want. Madrid definitely are planning for a post-Rodrygo / Asensio era. I mean, I'm not mentioning Asensio era as if Asensio has been here for a long time, but we know Asensio and Rodrygo has been on the spotlight in this Club World Cup. They have been making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. And Xabi Alonso is a little bit concerned now in terms of, is he going to stick with them or one of them has to leave? Make no mistake about it. Alaba is also somebody that is in the medical room every season. So that he has to leave. He has to leave. So if we can get rid of Alaba and if we loan out Asensio, I wouldn't really necessarily sell Asensio yet. He's still young and we could get a lot of money for him in the future if he develops correctly. So I would put him on loan, get Konaté for 20 M's and get rid of Alaba. And I think that would be a solid business for Real Madrid. It really, really is a solid business. We brought in Dean Howson, we brought Trent in, and now imagine getting Konaté for 20 M's and also having a left back that just completed his move today as well. Carreras has been presented as well. But look, it's exciting times, people. It is exciting times. We're going to have to wait. If you ask me my honest opinion, get your comments in, by the way, regarding Konaté. If you want my honest opinion, Madrid are not going to pay more than 20 M's. 20 M's, they're willing to pay it. They paid 10 M's for Trent, right? Just for him to be participating in this Club World Cup tournament. They just wanted him to be in that tournament, so they paid 10 million for Liverpool, even though we've signed him for free. So 10 to 20 M's is nothing for Real Madrid. And I think they're going to go and pay that money if Liverpool is okay with that. Konaté has to make sure he let Liverpool know that he's not going to be staying with them. Whatever money they offer him, his dream is to play for Real Madrid. He needs to push for that. If he really wants to join Real Madrid, he needs to push for that. He needs to let them know that he won't be signing a new contract. And therefore, Liverpool's going to be forced to sell with a lower budget, close to 20 M's. Not 50. Nobody's going to give you 50 M's if somebody's on his last year contract. Nobody. So yeah, that's the plan. I hope this materialized. Is Konaté worth 50 M's or should we go after somebody cheaper? You guys let me know in the comment sections. All right, before we move on to the next subject, I want to go through what you guys have to say about Konaté. What do you think is going to happen? Should we go all in to sign Konaté? Is he worth 50 M's? Should we pay that much? I don't think. I've given you my opinion. I don't think we should be paying 50 M's for him. I think 20 to 25 sounds about right. And if they don't accept that, then we come for him in the summer and get him for free. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, Militao solid. Yeah, Donald is spot on, right? Donald is spot on. So Militao and Konaté and Dean Howson. Imagine that. Imagine that back line. Who is going to break that team? Who is going to break that team? It's going to be interesting. It will be interesting to see what's going to happen there. But we need a new center back. Center back cost us the game a lot. Yes, Donald, that's what I spoke about, right? That's exactly what I spoke about. We made a whole lot of mistakes, and mistakes has to be rectified. It has to be rectified. We can't continue. We can't trust, especially Asensio. We cannot trust that dude. Rodrygo, he's getting old as well. If you see him, his pace is dropping significantly, and he started to make mistakes. That is a sign of aging. So definitely we go all in to sign Konaté now, or we take a risk and stick with Rodrygo for one more year and see what happens. Alaba says ever, yo, this Alaba guy, bro, like I want this guy to leave. I can't wait for this guy to leave. Some fans like him, but I never liked Alaba, bro. Like, what has he done for Real Madrid? Somebody tell me what he has done for Real Madrid, except lifting a chair. That's the only thing I remember about Alaba. Lifting a chair when we celebrated the Champions League. That's the only thing he did, bro. I don't remember anything else he did for the team. And he has to go. He reminds me of Phil Jones or Luke Shaw from Manchester United. They just sit on the bench and collect money. They're like a virus in the team, bro. They just stay in there and collect money every year. When you ask them to play, they come and play 1 or 2 games, and then they go back to being injured. So Alaba, I can't wait for that guy to move forward. And I'm not hearing anything about him. No club want him. No team is coming in for him. So we're going to have to stick with him. Or we're going to do the same thing we did with Gareth Bale, which is just completely remove him from the squad. And I don't think Madrid is in the position to do that now. Hala Madrid says, KG, we should sign Gabriel if Rodrygo goes to Arsenal. You know what? Speaking about Gabriel, I prefer to sign Saliba than Gabriel. I think Saliba is a master, but you know what? Arsenal is not going to sell Saliba or Gabriel. We're going to have to, the players are going to have to force a move to come to Madrid. Same way as other players are coming to Madrid. They're going to have to force it. If they don't force it, it's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen. Why did we remove Bale from the squad? Look, Bale just didn't gel with the team, and we had to let him go. We had to let him go, and we told him to leave. He didn't want to leave. He was waiting to see if he can find a club that can pay him 500,000 a week, and he didn't find one. And as soon as he found one in China, and then we said no because we wanted a transfer fee. I mean, it was insane. I don't want to get into Bale conversation. It was just a whole lot of drama. Finally, has ended really, really badly. The relationship between Bale and Real Madrid and the fans as well wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. But the next topic that we want to discuss, you guys let me know your thoughts about Konaté. Should we go for him? Yes or no? And also, is he worth 50 M's? Are you willing to pay 50 M's for him now, or wait in the summer, get him for free? Or would you pay 20 million right now, as Madrid is pushing for? Anyways, let's move on to the next subject that I want to talk about. All right. AC Milan have asked Real Madrid if they are open to selling Fran Garcia. It is unclear if Real Madrid would let him go. This is coming from Matteo Moretto. Again, it's not Fabrizio. He's not a top-tier journalist. I would put him in the second tier or third tier, to be honest. We'll wait and see how this is going to develop. But what we're hearing now is that Carreras is in. Carreras is going to be the main guy. He's going to be starting every game, I guarantee you, unless he makes a mistake. So I expect him to be starting every match for Madrid. And the situation with Mendy, we will have to wait and see. If Mendy can be fit, I still think Mendy is a better left back than Fran Garcia. Make no mistake about it. Fran Garcia had an incredible tournament, right, in this Club World Cup. But quality-wise, I think Mendy has more quality than Fran Garcia, in my opinion. And the only concern I have with Mendy is that he just can't stay fit. He's always injured. He is always injured. And I'm tired of him being in the medical room. And if he can resolve that, I think it would be really solid to have him and Carreras. And I kind of see similarities with Carreras and Garcia as well. They both are small. They're a little bit quicker, but Mendy is physical. He's more he's got more physicality about him. He's a different animal compared to these two guys. These two, Carreras and Garcia, they're similar. They're small, they can run fast, but they're not really tall and physical. And Mendy is that. So the fact that we signed Carreras, who's a similar player, or obviously a better skillful player than Garcia, that tells me that Garcia is going to be leaving. And especially with the kind of tournament that he just had, if anybody comes in for 20 to 25 M's, I think Madrid is willing to let him go for sure. But you guys let me know your thoughts about that. Would you keep him? Would you sell him? And who should be the starter in our left back position? London says we will give Mendy one more season. Then, if he can't revive himself, then sell him. I completely agree with that. I think it's stupid if Fran Garcia sold. Why do you think it's stupid? I think it makes perfect sense. You're not gonna get money for Mendy at this moment in time. He hasn't played the whole season, so the only player you could get in that position. We can't go into the tournament. Into the start of the season with 3 left backs and then 2 right backs. That's ridiculous, right? No big team has that many left backs in their team. Why can't Mendy attack, bro? He sucks at shooting. I remember that miss against Arsenal. Yeah, that was a big miss. That was a huge miss. Mendy's lack of attack is the problem. Is the reason why. And we went ahead and signed a left back. And also he can't stay fit. Defensively, I think he's solid. He's okay. I'm going to put him like way above. I'm not going to say he's the best left back, but I'm going to say that he's better than Fran Garcia defensively, I think, and offensively as well. Fran Garcia just has a lot of energy. That's the difference. And he can stay fit. Yo, Virat, big up for joining us. Look, everybody joining us, by the way, make sure you hit that like and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and join the Discord as well. Link has been in the chat. All right. Look, the next one. We've discussed this about Rodrygo, of course. We talked about this Rodrygo stuff going to Bayern Munich, and I discussed how it all depends on Diaz. If Diaz does move to Bayern Munich, then Bayern Munich are not interested in signing Rodrygo. Forget about it. But yeah, the last topic I want to cover before we get into the Q&A section at the end, Jude Bellingham has now completed his shoulder surgery in London. It is being reported everywhere. Fabrizio has reported this as well. The mission is for him to return in 3 months by the end of October, with Real Madrid, the staff taking care of his get well. I read all of that. But we know now, right? The mission for him is to return in 3 months, which is the end of October. Until then, we need to have a midfielder that is going to rise up to the occasion. Who is going to be that guy? There were talks about McAllister. There were talks about Enzo Fernandez. And there were also talks about Madrid are now willing to spend 100 million on a midfielder. And there were talks about Rodri as well for Manchester City. So all these guys are superstars, which the minimum we're going to have to pay for them is 100 million. They're not going to come cheap, right? They ain't going to come cheap. So I think Madrid is having a second thought. They're saying, can we just cut it? Can we just hold on? Can we survive without Jude Bellingham for the next 3 months? And that tells me he could be missing El Clasico as well. Is he going to be missing El Clasico? Let me just double check, bro. This is not good. Let me just check, bro. He could be missing El Clasico. October should be good before El Clasico. We need him real bad. Yes. So I'm looking at the schedule right now. I'm looking at Madrid's schedule right now. And El Clasico is on October 26th, which means by the end of October, by the time he returns, he's basically returning at the same time as the El Clasico is happening. That tells me he's not going to play, or even if he plays, he won't be starting. He's going to be on the bench. He can't be 100%. He's not going to be training now for about 3 months. So that's sad. I think we're going to miss him. I think we're going to miss him. And I think he's going to miss El Clasico as well, for sure. For sure, he's going to miss El Clasico. Eva says we're going to need him by El Clasico. I just told you, the El Clasico game is on October 26th. He's coming back by the end of October, which is around 25, 26, 27, 28. So, again, I don't think he would be available for us. And even magically somehow, if he's available for us, he won't be 100%. Yeah. So he won't be starting the game. All right. Let me just go through some of the comments here. Goulet is already playing, bro. Goulet is already playing. Goulet is playing next to Bellingham at this moment in time. That's what we saw. So Goulet is going to stay there. It is a discussion between Ceballos. I spoke about Ceballos yesterday. Juventus are talking to Ceballos. Ceballos could also be leaving. Real Betis is also in the conversation to join that race to sign Ceballos. So big things are happening. And Alonso is making things happening. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the new season. I'm excited who's going to be staying. I'm excited who's going to be going. Of course, we're going to bring you every latest information about Real Madrid, breaking news and all that good jazz. All right. He can be available, says Virat. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Xabi Alonso will go for a good squad rotation for our midfield, as he knows he's not Ancelotti. We've seen in the tournament. I think London is spot on. We've seen in the tournament that Alonso is so flexible. He could go with 4-3-3. He could go with 3 at the back, 3-4-3, 3-5-2. We've seen all sorts of formations, even in this Just Club World Cup. And so Alonso is flexible. Depending on who he has available, he can make it work. And I believe in that. I believe he can make it work. All right. Let's get into the Q&A section now. You guys can ask me any questions before we wrap up here. Ask me any questions before we wrap up here about all the topics that I've just covered. KG, did you turn off the XP? No, I didn't. The XP is still going on, bro. It's still going on. It's still going on. I didn't turn it off. New players in El Clasico: Trent, Alexander-Arnold, Hausen, Alvarro, Carreras, Mastantuono, and for Barca, Fran Garcia. Yeah, Barcelona haven't signed anybody yet. They haven't signed anybody yet. Hala Madrid says, KG, El Clasico will be crazy if Rodrygo scores a free kick or Lamine will score and fine. Someone will get a red. Look, El Clasico is going to be interesting. The first thing what I did, as soon as the schedule came out, and I've looked at the game at the El Clasico, when is the El Clasico and when is the Madrid derby? Those are the 2 dates that I booked for sure that we can't miss. And for sure, we can't wait for those games, especially El Clasico. We need to have some sort of revenge. We can't just sit and get banged 4 times last season and not do anything this season. I want us to win all the El Clasicos this season. That is the revenge that we need, people. That is the revenge we need. KG, Madrid will play Intercontinental Cup. So far, it's not on the schedule, but let me do more research on that and see if there's a competition that Madrid is going to be participating in. They've asked for an extension for the Osasuna game, and La Liga has basically said, no, we're not going to give you an extension for that game. We asked for a delayed start in La Liga because these players, I mean, they played a lot of minutes. So I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of preseasons. And even if we do, it's going to be 1 or 2 games, max. That's what I think is going to happen. These are the questions that I want you guys to answer. Rodrygo in, Rodrygo out. Konaté's price is too high or is it too low? Would you do a Rodrygo for Konaté swap? And also, would you rather have Konaté or somebody like Gabriel or Saliba? And let me know. And also, do you think Rodrygo would shine in the Premier League as well? Hala Madrid says Rodrygo stays. All right. Barcelona really bought no players except the goalkeeper, says London. They were solid, bro. Like, let's be real. They were solid. They had a solid season, right? They don't need to panic. They don't need to panic buy, bro. Like, they had a solid season. They basically are looking to sign Nico Williams, and Nico Williams just turned his back on them, and now they need to find somebody else on that position. Diaz is going to be, again, too expensive for them. I hope they take Marcus Rashford, bro. I hope, just go and grab Marcus Rashford. Get Marcus Rashford out of Manchester United right now. If I'm Barcelona, if I'm Barcelona, I don't want that, but I want Barcelona to take Marcus Rashford, bro. I want him to take them. Konaté plus 80 M's for Rodrygo. Ooh, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. I think I'll definitely take that. Dembele, Rafinha, Yamal, Mbappe, Salah, Vitinha, Pedri, Carreras, Desire Doué, Mendy, Hakimi. Why are we just listing our names? Rodrygo has to stay to show himself, as Vinny is getting worse and worse every game. Nori says, Hala Madrid. Nori, get involved. Let us know what your thoughts are really about these topics that we just covered on this live show today. And like I said, if you guys like these kind of content, make sure you're liking the streams and make sure you're getting involved in the comment sections as soon as we end the stream. All right. KG, why didn't you make a La Liga season preview? I think that's a good point. Should we do it, bro? Should we do it now? We just didn't get time with this Club World Cup stuff. We didn't get a chance to actually do a La Liga season preview. We might just do it, bro. We might just do it. The Ballon d'Or list. Look, I looked at the Ballon d'Or list. We posted some content regarding the Ballon d'Or list. Of course, we're going to be covering the Ballon d'Or as soon as it happens. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be doing live stream for the Ballon d'Or. Just wait for that, people. Fran Garcia shouldn't be sold. He's a good player for the bench and on the pitch sometimes. Real Madrid don't need to buy more CBE center backs. Real Madrid need a CM. That is Vitinha. Our dawn is spot on, right? We've got multiple defenders. But we need a midfielder. And I spoke about that, right? Madrid are now willing to pay a mega price, like 100 M's for a midfielder right now. That conversation will definitely change if we let Ceballos go, if we let Alaba go, and if we start collecting money from other positions. Fran Garcia could be the one leaving as well, so Rodrygo could be leaving. If all these guys leave, make no mistake about it, we're gonna make a huge statement signing in the middle of the park, and I would love to have Vitinha, but Paris Saint-Germain are not even gonna sell us a virus, let alone a player. So I don't think they're gonna sell us any player whatsoever. A lot of YouTubers did it. Yeah, I know, Lyndon, I know. Yeah, we missed out on that. Vinny should be replaced by Rodrygo to get more playing time. We should not sell him. He is a key player, says Jeremiah. Yeah, so there's a lot of Rodrygo fans, by the way. And a lot of Rodrygo fans are saying that we should sell Vinny and keep Rodrygo. Do you guys agree with that statement? Let me know. KG, red card for you if you don't make a La Liga season preview. I accept the red card, bro. I accept. I'll definitely accept. Bro. But yeah, guys. Yep. Just to wrap it all up. Look, it's been an interesting day today. There's a lot of stuff coming in, and let me see if there's anything. Every second there's stuff coming out regarding Madrid. So I just want to make sure we covered everything before we wrap up here. Yeah, we pretty much cover everything. And our new Madridista, by the way, is here, people. He's here. Let me put him on. He's here, people. He's here. W's in the chat right now for Carreras. He has been officially revealed. Of course, we did the official video yesterday. But look, I'm excited, people. I'm excited. Latest. La Fabrica, says Alvarro Carreras. Hala Madrid. W's in the chat right now for Carreras. But yeah, guys, that is it. Thank you all for watching. Look, If you enjoy these kind of contents, make sure you let me know in the comment sections. All right. But big questions heading into this transfer window. We still have a lot of time. Like I said, just to wrap it all up, should or do Madrid hold on to Rodrygo or cash in? Do we spend big to bring in Konaté now? Make sure you let me know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Smash that like as always. Join our Discord. Link is pinned in the chat. I'm going to pin it as soon as we end the stream as well. But yeah, guys, thank you all. I'll catch you guys all soon. Hala Madrid. Always. I'm out. Peace.